So, we're going to study the area of triangles in this section of our videos. And the area of a triangle is 1/2 of the base times the height. So, let's just go ahead and put in our values. The base of this triangle is 6, and the height of the triangle is 2.5. So, 1/2 of 6 is 3, and so we get 3 times 2.5. And 3 times 2.5 equals 6 plus 1.5, which means 7.5. So you would pick 7.5 kilometers squared, of course, because we're measuring area. And area is always going to be squared units. So on number 38, again, a triangle. So we have to use the same formula for the area of any triangle. It is 1/2 the base times the height. So what is our base? Our base is 9.5. Okay, and our height is 3.5. So sorry about that. My paper's slipping. Here we go. So we're going to do 1/2 of 9.5 times 3.5, okay? You could also do 9.5 times 3.5 and divide that in 2. There's a lot of ways to do this problem, okay? That's probably what I'm going to recommend to do for now, because none of these numbers split into a nice and easy half number that's going to be more useful. So we're just going to do 9.5 times 3.5 over 2. And tomorrow on the test, I'm not going to let calculators be used, okay? So you're going to be ready to multiply decimal numbers together, right? So I have a feeling we should practice multiplying decimal numbers. So I'm going to use some of the space over here that we would use on the circle problem for this problem that we're going to do, okay? Let's do 9.5 times 3.5. So we get 5 times 5 makes 25. So we have the 5 and the 2. And then 5 times 9 makes 45. So I put a 7 and the 4. Alright, 45 plus 2 makes 47. So now 3 times 5 makes 15. So I have the 5 and then I put a 1 right here. And 3 times 9 is 27. And I add the 1 and get 28. So we get 5 and then a 12. Carry the 1. That's 9. We get 13. And that makes... So since we had one decimal place and another decimal place, right? We're going to move our decimal 2 places over. So it should be right here. So you should get 33.25. And be careful, because that answer is right here, okay? We said we were going to multiply them, and then we're going to divide by 2. So really, we're looking at 33.25 divided by 2, okay? So which one of these numbers look somewhere near to 1/2 of 33, okay? Our answer is obviously 16.625, okay? That's 1/2 of 33.25. So go ahead and square in that answer and keep working. So now we'll do 39, okay? 39 is an area. We're going to find the area of a circle. So don't use the area of a triangle formula. This is the area of a triangle, okay? I know I didn't write that. I just wrote A. But make sure you realize that every shape has its own area formula because of its specific shape. So the area formula for a circle, we learned in class, I had you guys write as r squared times pi, okay? And that tells us that r is 3.4, okay? The radius of a circle is the distance from the center to the edge, and that's where the r for your formula comes from. It's the only number that you're going to have usually in there, okay? So we have 3.4 squared times pi, and it says use your calculator value of pi, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and use pi equals 3.14. We're going to make sure we can multiply by hand, okay? So let's do 3.4 squared times 3.14. So 3.14 gives me 3.4 times 3.4 is 3.4 squared. Whatever you do, don't multiply this by 2. Do 3.4 times 3.4. Okay? This will give you 11.56. Okay? Practice your decimal multiplication and try to see if you can get that value on your own. Now we're going to multiply 11.56 times 3.14. And I get 36.29. Okay, and we don't have to use any more numbers. It says round your answer to the nearest tenth. To the nearest tenth, okay? So the 10th place is this place right here, okay? So since this is 0.29, are we really closer to 0.2 or to 0.3? And the answer is we're really closer to 0.3. So we use a wavy approximation line to show that we're approximating, okay? And this equals, or is approximately equal to 36.3, right? 29 cents is closer to 30 cents than it is to 20. And that's really all you do when you're rounding, okay? If this digit is 5 or bigger, you go ahead and round up, all right? And you move this number up one. So go ahead, practice rounding. Look up rounding on the internet if you're stuck on rounding. It's a little bit below the geometry curriculum, but you're going to need to know it. All right, we've been practicing that in class every time we get problems like this. So please make sure you know how to round when you come in tomorrow. So we're going to find the circumference of the circle now. Make sure you read, okay? Do not just find the area like we did in this last problem. Now you have to find the circumference. So our formula for circumference is 2r pi. And again, our radius is the distance from the center of the circle to the edge of the circle. So we're going to put 11 in here. So we have 22 times 3.14, which is our value for pi. And 22 times 3.14, make sure that we're right, equals 69.08. And yes, I'm using a calculator right now. I would multiply by hand, but could you imagine how long this video is going to be if I do every multiplication by hand, right? So again, we have to round our answer to the nearest tenth. And if we look at this place right here and 0.08, is this closer to 10 or to 0? If this was money, if this was $69.08, are we closer to $69.10 or closer to $69 even? All right, since we have 8 cents, we're pretty close to 10 cents, okay? So use the wavy line and call this number approximately equal to 69.1. And see that number is right here, 69.1. So far, so good. Well, now all we have left are our constructions, and those videos are coming up shortly. So please keep studying.